Welcome back to a beautiful day in the heart of Suffolk, England. Right, I've been busy today. I've been very busy. Managed to get down the yard this morning and I managed to get a couple of more of those. I'm hoping I've now got enough. Luckily there was 3 left, but a couple of them are a bit bent. I also managed to get a couple of more sides, but one of those is bent. That's about the length of what the back end of my lorry was. Maybe a little longer, but we've got to strip all those posts off. That will make up the solar panel holders and the guardrails. What else have we done? Oh, we've also got 3 electric window switches with the wiring still on them for the actuator for this, plus the 2 slide outs. And we've also aluminium welding wire and a 115 millimeter wire brush. Monday we're going to get some of this brick acid, which was recommended to me by a subscriber called Dave Imel. Thank you very much for that, fella. I did watch your tutorial on it and yeah, I was pretty impressed with that, so we'll hit that on Monday out the front, I think, because I've got dogs. I don't want them standing in it. And then we'll wash it all down with that stuff and see how much of this concrete we can actually get off. This one is relatively clean, but the rest of them are pretty horrendous. So what do we do today? It's like this, for the sake of peace and quiet, without getting moaned at by that side. I think we'll have to do something different. Normally I take the weekend off anyway, but I must admit I want to get this lorry done. It's taken too long. I mean, we're 2.5 years in now. We'll be 3 years come July, I think it is, of next year. So yeah, we're nearly 2.5 years in. Come Christmas it'll be about 2.5 years. So I think we will do either a review or we'll start wiring up the solar panel. One of them. I can't do both because I ain't got all the batteries in place. So yeah, watch this space. That's where I want the solar panel controllers. One there and one there. Problem is we've got that. So in true Blue Peter style, there you go. We ran out of white PVC. I was trying to give it a decent gap at the top so I can slide the roof panel in underneath because we're going to pad that. But it went wrong slightly. We can lift the bottom up a bit, get that closer up. Didn't quite pull it tight enough there on the canvas, but you know what? All in all, that's not too bad. Matches the curtains. And we pull them across. Everything matches up, as you can see. So we are going to make a start on that, I think. And then at some point we'll cover that bit and that piece there in the same type of red material, and then that should just be nice when it's finished. But that's for another time because I'm blinking tired, working my butt off all week. We've got 2 of these, so one will go there and the other one will go up there, but we've got to knock up some battens for the top rail and one down there just to put a bit of support, and there's going to just be a minimal amount of screws holding that on. We don't want too many on there because I may need to access behind it at some point, but I think that looks quite tidy with all things considered. Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, Sunday, and I want to wire the solar panels up to that, at least one of them anyway. I've got to get my spare battery. So I've gone out of my way to get proper waterproof connectors, and I've forgotten the name of these wires and the connectors. However, one of them is on. I have no idea if they work. When they came to me, they came in a bubble wrap. That was the damage they sustained en route, so I generally don't know if these are going to work. They are JINTEK, Chinese, solar controllers, model MPT-7210A, and they come with an instruction manual in this. Unbelievable. You can set these up to run on any voltage that's in the parameters of what they give you, which I think is up to 72 volts on these. Unfortunately, with both my panels wired together, that come at 80, so that'd be too much. You know, if I can't, anyway, yeah, there is words that I can't find in my head at the moment, sorry. So, this is pretty much it. There's a lot to them, and they're the better of the cheap quality, I will say that much. So, they come with an overload protection. One thing on the instructions that they do stress about is you wire the batteries into the controllers first. Do not put the solar panels in without the batteries being connected. In other words, if you're going to take the batteries out for whatever reason, you'll need to disconnect the solar panels. So it might pay to put a control switch in line so I can shut all power that is going in, but that's something I'll have to do for later on. I'm not planning on any kind of removal at the moment. I've connected the live up, but I haven't connected the earth up on the roof. I've drilled another 2 more holes there so I can run the second wires, which is there. I have some DIY connectors for that. I do not know if there's power coming through that solar charger. I'm a bit concerned about that one because there's a big puddle of water up there and the blasted connections were sitting in the water. Also, the water level's a bit high up there, and I've got a horrible feeling that it has actually found its way into a little control connecting box underneath. So next priority is to drill through the little fiberglass pieces on the roof, fill them with sealant, and then drill a hole through that to try and divert the water off. I have this, but because the truck's leaning that way, it's not being used. So I think now we're going to have to just bite the bullet on that one and find another way of getting rid of that water up there, because it is a absolute flipping nuisance. What with the pigeons and everything, but I can't do it yet. So there's the first 2. The other 2 will go through in a little while. The holes I've put up there, I actually drilled another hole and muffed it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of alley, I'm going to get a hammer and I'm going to shape it into a cup that can be riveted over the top of the wires, and then we'll just literally use the last of the sealant and fill up that cup so everything is sealed up. The holes are a little bit bigger than needed, which means I can get sealant through the holes, and hopefully we can get that completely sealed up and watertight up there, and it's also on a high point on the slope as well. So everything should work out fine providing I follow the instructions. I have one problem, because I've decided to wire this up with 2 batteries to 24 volts. One of the questions that this thing asks when you set it all up is how many amp hours are the batteries. I don't know how to get around that one, because there are 2 separate batteries with 2 different amp hours on them. Now, how do I work that out? I'm rubbish at maths, never was any good at it. I can barely count to 10 sometimes. So how do I do that? I don't know how I do that. That one has got me completely beat, so I'm going to have to do an internet search to find out how I can join 2 batteries together and work out the full amp hour of both batteries. I mean, if not, I'm going to have to wire these up as a 12 volt system instead. I don't have any choice in the matter. And I'll just have to feed one battery and hope that it charges the other up, but I don't think it's going to, because the 24 volt system is not connected up. Right, there you go, they're both fixed. Holes are drilled to the wires to thread. So we've got 2 wires to go in, 2 wires to go out. I'm going to have to put another one next to that one, but those I'm not so sure about at the moment. They don't give you a lot of room in there either. I don't know what ampage they're expecting to run these on, although the ampage in the book was quite high. So we'll see where we end up, because the wire in there is not exactly super duper thin. Although it would be thin enough to go in there. Okay, so that's first part. Second part's going to be harder, because that bag of wire, I need it. I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, it's really frustrating. So I might not get this job done. I was going to use this, but the core is rather heavy for the job it's got to do. Whoa, stop the clock, stop the horses. I've just suddenly realised, because I'm having a divvy moment at the moment, I don't need to go down there. I can go into the back of that. Because one of them is permanently live. I can go from there into there. I don't have to go through all that lot. I can just go through that bit, through that panel, underneath this one, and into the back of that. That will give me the live I need to feed into the controller that side, and I can put the live on this one and feed it into the controller on the other side. And when those batteries are finally in, then I've got to rip all that lot out to be able to get a wire down there, which is going to be an utter nightmare, and I ain't looking forward to it one tiny little bit. I've got two sets of reds going to two separate isolators. It does now mean, because I can't figure out the amp hour issues, I'm just going to one battery. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that other one charged. Right, I don't know how these are meant to work. I did just put power to that one and nothing lit up, but I haven't connected the solar power to it yet. The other thing I'm a bit concerned about is where those wires feed into. Those little gaps are tiny, so I'm going to put a grinder across them and open them right up. The reason for that is my wire is a bit on the thick side, because that's the only stuff I could find at the time. And well, you can see that it's bound to fuse out, so we're going to change that. I will be honest, the terminals on this are not that great. Now we've widened up the housing, so that takes some of the risk away. We've painted it green, not quite the right green, but hey ho. We're going to screw that panel down. They're all tight. Both solar panels are disconnected at the top. Power, I've just got the earth lead to put a cap on the end of, put that on the earth. Both earths are there. We'll mount it and we'll plug. Well, the 12 volt is permanent, so that'll be going straight up, and we've just got to tidy off. I don't like pulling all that apart, but we've double terminaled there. There'll be another live from the battery down there onto that one, and then that live will go to the bus bar down there, which goes to everything up here. So that is it so far. Unfortunately, I've mucked my curtain up, so I'm going to have to pull the other curtain down, put that one up, take that one down, cut it up, and make curtain for that to match, so all of this room matches. Gonna get a blind for that one. After having multiple hissy fits, throwing my dolly around, everything's poxy well going wrong. My switches are busted on there, and what it is, the lead I bought, specifically up there on the terminals, is red. Not knowing much about how to wire these things in, I automatically assumed that was live. Wired them the wrong way, didn't I? I thought I had the live in a live, so I've got to turn, I believe I've got to turn that one around as well. It's a freaking nightmare. And these are noisy. And they're saying my battery's dead as well, which I'm finding difficult to believe, so I don't even know if they're working properly. But I haven't set anything up yet, so I haven't read the instructions. I'm going to turn, while I've got this cover off, I'm going to turn these two over as well, although they're not plugged in, and we'll go from there. Really annoying. There you go, I've just switched that one around as well. Hey, I followed the colour coding that I assumed was live. So either the leads up there are completely wrong, or they have signposted those wrong. They're Chinese made, and those leads are British. I believe they are a British brand. I actually went out of my way and bought something British for a change. They weren't that much money. So I can only assume that's wrong. Maybe they wired them up wrong on the circuit board. Who knows? I don't know. But they're there. So I'm pushing 31 volts out of the solar panels at the moment on an overcast day. So that's not bad. Amp-wise though, is sod all. But this humming, that is driving me nuts. That's the fans kicking in. There you go, they're in. I've disconnected the solar to that one because there's no battery on the other end, and it says in the instruction books make sure you've got a battery on first, so I've disconnected that one because I don't want to blow them up. I won't get my money back on them because I've already interfered with them. I just wish people, I mean, it could be me, I'm sitting there blaming other people, but it could actually be me. I'm not understanding what's going on, and I did say at the very beginning of this, I don't know what I'm doing. but they're in. But I think we're going to have to make up another cabinet front for that, because I can't cope with that noise. That is irritating as hell. And imagine 2 of them going, 3 as well, because there's a third one to go in, which is slightly different from them 2. That will go up the top. That's going to feed the main drive batteries. But we did say about down there, so I have some reading to do. I've got to figure out what's what on this. So my lovely people, with that I'm going to bugger off. Catch you tomorrow onwards when I start doing the decking. I've now got to screw all this lot back together. Wish me luck. I busted the switches for them, and everything went wrong today. Out of here. Bye.